Crocodile's Treason, a South African folktale, narrated by Terrell for 1,000,000 heroes. Crocodile was, in the days when animals still could talk, the acknowledged foreman of all water creatures, and if one should judge from appearances, one would say that he still is. But in those days it was his especial duty to have a general care of all water animals. And when one year it was exceedingly dry, and the water of the river where they had lived dried up and became scarce, he was forced to make it plan to trek over to another river a short distance from there. He first sent Otter out to spy. He stayed away 2 days and brought back a report that there was still good water in the other river, real sea cow holes, that not even a drought of several years could dry up. Ere he had ascertained this, Crocodile called to his side Tortoise and Alligator. "Look here," said he, "I need you tonight to carry a report to Lion, so then get ready. The veld is dry, and you will probably have to travel for a few days without any water. We must make peace with Lion and his subjects, otherwise we utterly perish this year. And he must help us to trek over to the other river, especially past the Boer's farm that lies in between, and to travel unmolested by any of the animals of the veld, so long as the trek lasts. A fish on land is sometimes a very helpless thing, as you all know." The two had it mighty hard in the burning sun and on the dry veld, but eventually they reached Lion and handed him the treaty. "What is going on now?" thought Lion to himself when he had read it. "I must consult Jackal first," said he. But to the commissioners he gave back an answer that he would be the following evening with his advisers at the appointed place, at the big Varlin willow tree, at the farther end of the hole of water, where Crocodile had his headquarters. When Tortoise and Alligator came back, Crocodile was exceedingly pleased with himself at the turn the case had taken. He allowed Otter and a few others to be present and ordered them on that evening to have ready plenty of fish and other eatables for their guests under the Varlin willow. That evening as it grew dark, Lion appeared with Wolf, Jackal, Baboon, and a few other important animals at the appointed place, and they were received in the most open-hearted manner by Crocodile and the other water creatures. Crocodile was so glad at the meeting of the animals that he now and then let fall a great tear of joy that disappeared into the sand. Ere the other animals had done well by the fish, Crocodile laid bare to them the condition of affairs and opened up his plan. He wanted only peace among all animals, for they not only destroyed one another, but the boar, too, would in time destroy them all. The Boer had already stationed at the source of the river no less than 3 steam pumps to irrigate his land, and the water was becoming scarcer every day. More than this, he took advantage of their unfortunate position by making them sit in the shallow water and then, one after the other, bringing about their death. As Lion was, on this account, inclined to make peace, it was to his glory to take this opportunity and give his hand to these peace-making water creatures, and carry out their part of the contract, namely, escort them from the dried-up water, past the Boer's farm and to the long sea cow pools. "And what benefit shall we receive from it?" asked Jackal. "Well," answered Crocodile, "the peace made is of great benefit to both sides. We will not exterminate each other. You desire to come and drink water. You can do so with an easy mind, and not be the least bit nervous that I or any one of us will seize you by the nose. And so also with all the other animals. And from your side we are to be freed from Elephant, who has the habit, whenever he gets the opportunity, of tossing us with his trunk up into some open and narrow fork of a tree and there allowing us to become bilted." Lion and Jackal stepped aside to consult with one another, and then Lion wanted to know what form of security he would have that Crocodile would keep to his part of the contract. "I stake my word of honor," was the prompt answer from Crocodile. And he let drop a few more long tears of honesty into the sand. Baboon then said it was all square and honest as far as he could see into the case. He thought it was nonsense to attempt to dig pitfalls for one another, because he personally was well aware that his race would benefit somewhat from this contract of peace and friendship. And more than this, they must consider that use must be made of the fast disappearing water. For even in the best of times it was an unpleasant thing to be always carrying your life about in your bands. He would, however, like to suggest to the king that it would be well to have everything put down in writing, so that there would be nothing to regret in case it was needed. Jackal did not want to listen to the agreement. He could not see that it would benefit the animals of the veldt. But Wolf, who had fully satisfied himself with the fish, was in an exceptionally peace-loving mood, and he advised Lion again to close the agreement. After Lion had listened to all his advisors, and also the pleading tones of Crocodile's followers, Lion held forth in a speech in which he said that he was inclined to enter into the agreement, seeing that it was clear that Crocodile and his subjects were in a very tight place. There and then a document was drawn up, and it was resolved, before midnight, to begin the trek. Crocodile's messengers swam in all directions to summon together the water animals for the trek. Frogs croaked and crickets chirped in the long water grass. It was not long before all the animals had assembled at the Varlin Willow. In the meantime, Lion had sent out a few dispatch riders to his subjects to raise a commando for an escort. And long ere midnight these also were at the Varlin Willow in the moonlight. The trek then was regulated by Lion and Jackal. Jackal was to take the lead to act as spy, and when he was able to draw Lion to one side, he said to him, "See here, I do not trust this affair one bit. And I want to tell you straight out, I am going to make tracks. I will spy for you until you reach the seek-out pool, but I am not going to be the one to await your arrival there." Elephant had to act as advance guard because he could walk so softly and could hear and smell so well. Then came Lion with one division of the animals. Then Crocodile's trek with a flank protection of both sides, and Wolf received orders to bring up the rear. Meanwhile, while all this was being arranged, Crocodile was smoothly preparing his treason. He called Yellow Snake to one side and said to him, "It is to our advantage to have these animals, who go among us every day, and who will continue to do so, fall into the hands of the boar. Listen, now, you remain behind unnoticed, and when you hear me shout, you will know that we have arrived safely at the seek-out pool. Then you must harass the boar's dogs as much as you can, and the rest will look out for themselves." Thereupon the trek moved on. It was necessary to go very slowly as many of the water animals were not accustomed to the journey on land. But they trekked past the boar's farm in safety, and toward break of day they were all safely at the seek-out pool. There most of the water animals disappeared suddenly into the deep water, and Crocodile also began to make preparations to follow their example. With tearful eyes he said to Lion that he was, oh, so thankful for the help, that, from pure relief and joy, he must first give vent to his feelings by a few screams. Thereupon he suited his words to actions so that even the mountains echoed, and then thanked Lion on behalf of his subjects, and purposely continued with a long speech, dwelling on all the benefits both sides would derive from the agreement of peace. Lion was just about to say good day and take his departure, when the first shot fell, and with it Elephant and a few other animals. "I told you also," shouted Jackal from the other side of the seek-out pool. "Why did you allow yourselves to be misled by a few crocodile tears?" Crocodile had disappeared long ago into the water, All one saw was just a lot of bubbles. And on the banks there was an actual war against the animals. It simply crackled the way the boar shot them. But most of them, fortunately, came out of it alive. Shortly after, they say, Crocodile received his well-earned reward when he met a driver with a load of dynamite. And even now, when the elephant gets the chance, he pitches them up into the highest forks of the trees.